Hey, listen, people, you and I really need to talk. We need to have a heart-to-heart about my last video, in particular about your comments on my last video. Well, not everybody's comments, because most of them were pretty nice, but especially the comments that were not so nice, that made all kinds of assumptions, or that tried to correct me, or tried to pick a fight, or whatever it was that you wanted to accomplish. We need to talk about that, because I'm a little disappointed. If you don't know what video I am referring to, it's the video entitled Mysterious Lady. You'll see it because you'll see a picture of the President of the United States standing next to a well-dressed blonde woman. Headline, Mysterious Lady. In fact, why don't you stop watching this video and take about 4 minutes out of your day? I know you're so busy watching whatever you want to watch or scrolling social media. You're so busy you probably don't have 4 minutes, but if you have 4 minutes, just stop what you're watching now and take a look at that video, because then you'll know what I'll be talking about in the next 9 minutes. Okay, you're back. I bet you didn't watch it, as you know, because a lot of people don't go beyond the headlines. They have this very gut response that they need to share with the rest of the world for some kind of reason, and they draw all kinds of conclusions based on a headline. Do you ever go beyond the headlines and think that you know the entire story just by reading the headline? Are you one of those people? Are you that shallow? Because when lots of people saw my headline saying Mysterious Lady, and then they know me as a content creator about all things Dutch, of course they question, how could this person calling himself Paul Holland not know who this blonde, well-dressed woman was standing next to Donald Trump? Of course he would know. What a dummy. This is Queen Maxima, our Queen Maxima. Why didn't he say so? Well, I said it. I talked about her for about 4 minutes. I named her name in the 28th second of that video, had you bothered to watch the whole thing. But that's the trouble these days. People don't have time or don't want to take the time to go a little bit deeper. But, you look pretty foolish, because you act as if I don't know who she is. But had you taken the time to watch this video, you would have known that I clearly know who she is, what she's all about. I told the people in that video about her background. It's obvious that I know who she is, so you shouldn't even question my ignorance. And then some of you went on to vent your opinion about her. And of course, you are entitled to your opinion about the Dutch royal household. I know that not everybody is a monarchist or royalist. Not everybody's in favor of Holland being a monarchy. Some of you want the Netherlands to be a republic. But then some of the attacks on the Queen became very personal, and they had to do with her dad. And we all know, and I referred to that in my video, I had you bother to watch it, that her dad was part of a military junta in Argentina in a time that was a dark time in the period for that country. Lots of people who had left-leaning inclinations were rounded up, and they disappeared and never came back. It was a very bad time. But is the daughter responsible for the actions of her dad? I mean, think about your family, your dad. I'm sure that your dad might have done some things that you're not particularly proud of. I had an uncle who, during the Second World War, chose the wrong side. I'm not responsible. His sons and daughters are not responsible for the choices that he made as a kid. So how is the Dutch Queen in any way, shape, or form responsible for her dad's actions? She is responsible for her own actions and her own morals and values and how she lives her life. And based on the life that she leads and how she tries to uplift the poor and the downtrodden in this world by promoting access to banking by the very poorest of the poor, I think she's done a pretty good job. But that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But when you disagree with me, please be agreeable. Don't call me names. Don't call the Queen names. Say what you have to say, but be respectful. That's all I'm asking you to do. Then some of you claimed, well, she's not really popular in the Netherlands. The monarchy is not really popular in the Netherlands, so what's the big deal about the Queen? And don't lift them up. Don't promote them. They're not worth it. Well, let me give you the latest numbers in terms of the monarchy and the support for the Dutch king and queen. And I'm not picking them out of the hat. Every year around King's Day in the Netherlands, There's an opinion poll that is kind of the gold standard of opinion polls by a TV show called Eén Vandaag, and they measure the popularity of the royal household year by year and the support for the monarchy. And here are the numbers, and I'll have to read them because I did not memorize them. So the latest poll, April 2025, says that 59% of the population in the Netherlands now say the monarchy should remain in place. 59%. Last time I checked, that's a majority. 59% of the Dutch people think we should keep the monarchy, compared to 52% last year. So actually the popularity is growing. Whereas support for a republic has fallen by a similar margin from 37% to 31%. So less people support a republic. Now to the king and queen. Individual support for King Willem-Alexander rose from 53% to 57%, while backing for Queen Maxima increased from 55 to 59%. She's even more popular than her husband. 59% of the people support Queen Maxima. So no, support for the monarchy is not decreasing, it's increasing in the Netherlands. A majority of people see that the royal family is a stabilizing, a unifying factor in the Netherlands. Again, you don't have to agree with that. You don't have to like it. But when you vent your opinion, count to 10 before you type whatever you want to type and be a keyboard warrior. And here's the thing, here's the line that I like to draw. If I see you being disrespectful, calling people names, nasty names, I reserve the right to delete your comment. And if you continue this behavior, I will block you from ever commenting again. You say, wow, freedom of speech, la, 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 la. Well, freedom of speech, as guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, is between institutions, and individuals can do whatever they want. And I'm one of those individuals, and this is my channel. And if I feel that you're disrespectful, I reserve the right to block and delete your comments. Just so you know. Again, I'm happy to be criticized. You can criticize me for my choices, for my opinions. But when you do this in a respectful way, offer some counter arguments instead of saying, I don't like this, I don't like that. Base it on facts instead of feelings, please. And be kind to each other. Be happy that there's some silly guy in the north of the United States, in Vermont, close to the Canadian border, who talks to the rest of the United States about the Netherlands. Most Americans have no clue because the educational system here is not that good. It's not as good as it is in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, you learn about different countries. You learn different languages. Most people in the United States know one language and one language only, and that is English. Most of them will grow up never to own a passport. They'll never go anywhere but the United States. They don't feel they need to because they think they have everything there is to have in life. They don't encounter other cultures. When they watch TV, they say, well, they can watch it on TV. They don't watch shows that are foreign shows. They're not that popular. And when they watch foreign shows, they watch them. What is that? Okay. That is my... Anyway. When they watch foreign shows, they watch them dubbed, not subtitled, so they never hear the original language. I think you miss out on a lot. They don't know much about the rest of the world. There's not much they need to know, and especially not about the Netherlands. They're not as interested in the Netherlands as you might be in the United States. I think that Americans are interested in America. I mean, look at what's happening in politics these days in the United States. Do I need to see more? It's isolationism, people. That's the country we live in at the moment. So, anyway, I know this is a rant. I just had to get it off my chest. I had to clear the air. Once again, if you're disrespectful, I will reject you. I will delete you. I will block you. But I invite you to give your comments, do your research, but be nice to each other. Be uplifting. Have a great day. Tot ziens. Bye-bye.